Welcome. What we're going to be going over today is various stock versions that you can get for your MP5. Now, please note that some of these required some modding. Others fit without issue. It depends on your gun and how well it fits. I'm going to be using this custom SD6 that I got. I think, don't quote me on this, it might be an ICS lower, but I'm not sure, but it is an ICS upper. Might be a JG lower. This is from Hotspot Airsoft. They put it together for me. I'm not quite sure. I will also be showing off an MX5 that I have, which is also an ICS, complete ICS version. Starting off, most of the people are used to seeing an MP5 with a full stock like this. This particular gun is wired to the front, but has the ability to take an extension back here and put your battery in the stocks. Sometimes with extra weight on the front, like the battery, or if you have rails or something like that, it might get a little front heavy, and putting the battery and other things in there, it would be better to have an offset stock. Also, this has a lot more room in it than your front stock will take. Usually you got to get a nunchuck style or a small little LiPo to throw in there. I'm going to try to remove these live on camera. They're very tight, some of them, because they were modified to be fit on here. Some slide right on and don't have a problem. Now, I have removed the pin. Various lengths on the pins depending on the stock, too. This one came with this particular short pin. That's usually a short pin for up front, but it works for the back. So what you do is wiggle it back and forth a little bit. Like I said, this one was modded quite a bit to get on here. And there we go. It's off. Okay, there is a huge battery compartment for this particular gun. As you can see here, this has got a lot of battery space. There's a wire that actually comes up through. There's like a little bracket here. It goes over the top, and you have all this for battery space. I keep sneezing during the video, and I have to stop it, which I have no idea what's going on. Now, there are two different versions here. They look almost identical. The only difference being is this one came with a loose-fitting wire in here that has since fallen out, God knows where. And compared to this ICS version here, which has a solid piece here that doesn't move. Both go on the stock without issue. As you can see, that one's a little tighter, better fit, but this is the one that had the wire in it right here, so it would jangle around a little bit. It's not really the most secure thing. It works. Now this one, ICS version, also this is plastic, this ICS version, this is metal. Okay, this does give you some more heft on the end. This would actually make this gun more equally balanced on either side. This one slips on really easy. It's a little loose with the pin in there, that might tighten it up a little bit. But retractable stocks have this little push button here. You push it on right in like this, and then the stock will go all the way in. And you can stop it at various positions. It'll click in place till you get it fully extended like that. Okay. Next stock, or again, it's stock you would see on some people use, would be an end cap. Okay, that's basically cuts off the end of the gun here, and you have a swing swivel that you can hook up to your rig and hang down, and it gives you a very shortened version of the weapon. Now this one is fixed for here. Gives us a very small profile, and this is what I'm personally using right now due to my left shoulder injury. I can use this with just one hand, and it works like a champ. I've also added the quick release spring, or quick release mag release here on the front, so I could just push it with my finger and the mags drop off. This is a very good fit on some of the mags. I'm using Mag brand and Beta Project. They fit flawlessly in this. But this cuts down the profile of the gun. This would be a weapon I would take to CQB in this particular configuration to use. It would be very handy, get around corners, and it's easy to use one-handed if you had to. Okay, we'll remove the end cap. Now this end cap, just as an added note, has a solid pin with no little split in it, so it doesn't matter which side you put it in, the pin will go in a little tough here. And this particular pin, if you can line it up right, goes through quite a bit. I don't know if that'll translate on the video, but it's sticking up about a good, like almost a 1/4 inch. So it locks in place very, very well, so it's very secure when it's on the gun. Next one I'm going to show you is specific to ICS's brand of guns. It can be purchased separately, which I have done, is this ICS Stock. This comes complete with a cheek riser, which is nice if you're running optics on it, and it is an adjustable stock. It only has 2 positions, in or out. It's got various clicks, but they're so minuscule, you either run it all the way out or you run it all the way in. Personally, I'm running it all the way out all the time, and it's equal to, in length, a full stock. So the added bonus on this is retractable, gives you a lower profile like the end cap, cheek riser for your optics, but the awesome thing for this is it has a folding stock. It'll fold around with this button here, giving you a very, very low profile, just like the end cap would give you. Okay, now this one is going to be a little tight on here because I had to work on this quite a bit. Now this one has a split ring as well, and very thin pin. Okay, there it is, it's on there. I'm not going to tighten up the pin on it because we're taking it on and off. This one on the pin, just to make a note, has a very thin top compared to most of the MP5 pins you'll see has a thicker top. This allows this to sit down lower as a lower profile on this stock and holds it in place very well. I don't know, might as well put it in slightly so it'll hold. These are very tight on this particular gun, so you gotta help them a little bit. I just put in a little bit so I can show you. With the stock folded, okay, it gives you a very small profile on the gun, and when you're holding it, you can actually grip here in front of the magazine on the stock itself and get a little easier to maneuver with. And the stock will clip back in place, and now you have a full stock on your gun. Note, this only works for front wired guns. This is both, so it doesn't really matter which way we do this. I'm going to remove this pin so that we can continue on. Like I said, most of these guns were modded for use with this particular stock. Really simplistic to put the back on here. You just slide it in place, click it up there, you're good to go. This does have a sling mount on the back here, and I have found that depending on the gun, that might be a little bit long to wear on your rig. Usually I want a sling mount that's a little farther up front on the gun so that gun hangs a little higher on me. So we're going to put this pin. Now if you notice, it's hard to see on the video, I might take a picture of it. Usually you've got a split portion with like an X-type frame in there that the pin will allow to slide through very easily, and then it goes into the hole and it tightens down and it's flush. Next most common stock that we're going to see is the retractable stock like this. And pin comes out a little tough on this one. Alright, and also one thing to note, this has a quick detach sling mount that you can put on either side, very lefty friendly. This is how I like to run the configuration, where this would hang like this down from my rig very close and I could get at it. It keeps it at a smaller profile. Next one is a curious one that I found on the e-bike site. Most of these were bought on e-bike's site, and was this rail one here in the foreground. Now what this has is a multiple position stock that you have to actually unscrew this. There are holes in the bottom and you can make it any length that you want. Now that's fine, but I like to keep it all the way out. It makes it slightly longer than a regular stock by about 2 inches. Gives me that little bit better control on the gun. One of the things I also like about this is it was a split to the side, so then you can get it out of the way and you can hold up here on a grip. I had to start over a little bit. I actually piled up everything on a box here, and my 2 pistols are there, and they slowly slid off and pulled everything over. So as I was saying with this has a flip to the side, which then has a little bit of a hook right there, so it won't move too much. It's very stiff. Goes back in. Now the only thing I added on this particular one was a sling mount. Now it doesn't move around. It's solid in the plastic. This is heavy duty plastic. I did that because my sling loop would grab it here right at the top when this is hanging down, and this would balance and hold on my gun. Now this particular one has a long pin in it with a small flat head. I got a real long pin for it. It's a little tight on here. I should say a lot tight on here. I'm not going to go crazy and push it on there because I'll never be able to get it off. But it does dramatically add to the length of the gun. Very easy to shoulder, and with the push to side for CQB, cuts down the profile of the gun, and you can then grip it here and get some support for the gun when you're using it. The only negative thing I will say about this is it adds a lot of weight to the gun. It gives it's solid metal. You know, it's not chintzy or anything like that. It's solid metal. The only thing that's plastic is this piece, but the hinge itself is metal. This is metal, metal, metal all the way down the line. And it's a little bit of a bear to get on and off. I had to do quite a bit of modding inside here to get it to fit. But it does fit on this one and my 2 MX5 versions. If I was buying this, again, 2 things to watch out for here. And as you can see, this moves a little bit. It's not supposed to move. There's supposed to be a screw in here. And I actually put one in there, and it just seems to move around a lot, even though I got it tightened down pretty good. That's fine. I guess when it goes in your shoulder, if it moves a little bit one way or the other, that's fine. It can't come out, but it is a little bit looser. Adjusting the length is a pain in the butt. You have to take this all the way out, slide it forward, screw it all the way back in, and make sure it tightens up. Very good stock, heavy if you want to offset the weight from the front. This combination on this particular gun where it's wired to the front, it doesn't have any rails or anything like that, but my other ICS has the rails up front and its battery is up front as well. A lot of heavy weight. This offset the weight, and with the little sling mount here, it was perfectly balanced on my rig. Lugging this around, this is very, very heavy. So very nice stock, but a little heavy to use for the gun, and it takes a little modding to get it on most guns. Not a problem though. Dremel tool about half hour and I had it on there, no problem. Most of these fit. The ICS ones fit on most other stocks, but not all stocks fit on ICS guns. Now the next one I'm going to show you, and why I'm doing it, I'm going to put this pin back in here, and got to line it up to get it in the hole and push it through. We're going to put this end cap back on here because this is the way, the configuration that I'm going to use this gun anyway, because it's the only way I can handle it now with my left shoulder the way it is. I actually had some problems, so see, right in there, no problem, and now you have a short profile on the gun. The stock I'm going to show you, and I'll put a link. I'm going to put a link to all the stocks in case people are looking for them. Is on my MX5 that I got Pro Series. Now, this one has the rails on the front. It is a major heavy gun with all this stuff on it. The optics on the top, the metal rail. I put these actual metal rails on the outside here. No, not this one. This one already had the rails on it. This suppressor I put on here. But the main thing that we're going to be talking about today is this 6-position AR stock. Now what I did is I got the mount. It's a GS5 mount that I found on another site. I do a little modding to it, very little matter of fact, to get it to fit on here. And I actually had a buffer tube, put it on there, It doesn't come with the buffer tube. It's just this with the little bracket to put it together. This one I bought though came with the buffer tube. There was two versions. So I was able to get this, and I had this stock. I was able to slide on there. Came with the cheek riser, and I bought this little serrated butt pad for it, which works great. Now, one of the big things that I found that when I was using the gun, it is so heavy, after a while I get tired carrying it. And I can't use this with my left arm because the way it's acting up right now. So I needed something to get this so I could carry it. And I found this quick detach sling mount here. I'll give you a link for that. It has on either side. And what it gives you is it just clamps around the outside base of the buffer tube with an Allen right down here on the bottom. Okay, and you've got a beautiful sling mount to hook to your gun, and works flawlessly, and it's in a perfect position to balance the weight when it's on my rig. Now I'm using a 1-point sling, and I like to have it run a little higher so I can just shoulder this quick and call it good. Now this 6-position stock that I have on here, if you notice, it is longer than the regular stock, but it is equatable to the rod style stock here for length. Okay, it's about almost the same length. What this gives me though, getting this AR stock like this, it gives me the ability to put other type of stocks on here now. I can take this off, run it on my other MX5, run it on the ST6, whatever I want to run, and I can run an M4 style stock on here. I have the sling mount. This would come all with it. Take this off, a couple of minutes, and I have a 6-position stock with a cheek riser that I can run on my MP5. Very economical to buy, and you can put any kind of stock on this. I was actually looking at some clubfoot stocks, some PTS stocks, whatever I want to put on here now, I can put on here. And they do sell this bracket, and the one bracket with the tube on a local company. They have them in stock. I actually found 2 places that have them now. They're not cheap. They're almost the same cost as the stock. They were like $50-some. And you could buy any one of these stocks for a lot less than 50 bucks. So the cost of this, just this portion right here, was 50, and then the cheapo stock that I have on here. But this, I used this primarily at one game before I hurt my shoulder. Phenomenal. The one guy said he really liked the feel of it, the way it had the stock, and it shot like a laser beam because that's just how I have it configured. Very good stock to use, and it'll fit on most guns that I've tried it on, both my MX5s, and it fits on the ST6, so that's a plus as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was just giving some rough ideas of some options that you can have for your guns when you're going out on the field. Switch from a CQB length to a field length, full stock, folding stocks, or even the retractable stocks. And the folding stocks have the same options as the retractable or the CQB End Cap. Very good things to have in my one bag. I have 2 MP5s with all these different stocks. I can set up various guns in various configurations and go from real light to real heavy in a matter of minutes with like pulling the pin out and putting it back in. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and you have a great day.